Thank y'all for tuning in to Politics, Religion, and Whiskey, the Josh Terry podcast, brought to you by Raising Grace Studios. Today I've got a buddy with me, one of the guys that I really like that I say that does not belong in our circle because he's 10 times nicer and a better person than any of us. Mr. Justin Dukes, originally from Vidalia, but now from Nashville. How you doing today, brother?
Doing good, man. It's good to see you. Good to be down in Georgia.
I'm glad you're back in Georgia.
I know, man.
I hate all y'all being in Nashville.
I
so
know.
far away from me.
I know, man. It's been a little while, but I know as soon as I got back down here, I was going to stop by because the work you've done at this place, man, it's really blown up.
Well, we all going to blow up together.
Yeah.
I had this thing in my head to where me, you, Lee, Tyler Branch, as soon as we get his ass back
got to get him back to Georgia.
New York, he's got to get the hell out of there. Dustin,
Dustin.
JC, all of them.
Oh,
I just got this idea in my head of all of us exploding together, and I think this is our Muscle Shoals.
Yeah, man. Hey,
I'm gonna make it that way to where nobody can tell any of us no.
There you go, man.
And also, before we get too much into this, first off, congratulations on the engagement.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's
I got a tear in my eye.
Yeah.
When I saw y'all's engagement pictures, I was just sitting there and I was like, you know what? I'm so happy for this cat.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was one of those deals where I had it planned to do it somewhere else, and we had to rework it, and I woke up one Wednesday morning, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it today.
That's probably the best kind, though.
Yeah,
when
it
you
is.
can't just hold back
Yeah.
and you got to go ahead and go with it.
Yeah.
Before we get started, drop your social media stuff and all that good thing. All
Yeah.
those good things so I know where to find you.
You can check me out on Facebook, Justin Dukes Music, and Instagram, at Justin_Dukes_music. Twitter, I don't really do a whole lot of Twitter, but you still follow me on there, and TikTok and all that good stuff. I guess I'm trying to get on TikTok train, so
I am trying.
come on in there.
I'm having a hard time with it.
Come aboard.
I feel like I'm too cool for TikTok. And
Yeah.
TikTok's the coolest thing. When my 9-year-old, Gracie, does it,
Yeah,
she's always TikToking.
yeah,
And it's like, how am I supposed to appeal to adults
right.
when my daughter does this?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I'm 26 now, but like even trying to learn the stuff on TikTok, I'm like, oh my God, I have fell back on the trend.
That's what's going to make all this suck is I'm going to have to ask my daughter to show me how
Yeah.
to TikTok.
Yeah, so that's the good thing about, having a daughter. You could just be like, all right, now how did you do this?
Yeah, but it also makes you feel like, okay, I became that older.
Yeah, that old
I'm
man.
the old guy now.
You're the old guy.
It's
yeah.
like back having to show my dad how to use Facebook.
Yeah,
And my dad,
yeah.
like, what is this?
Yeah.
And now it's
And now
Gracie
you're
has to show
like,
me.
how come you don't know that? And then now it's
Just
like the roles are
And
reversed.
Gracie's such an asshole. She looks at me like, she's like, you're a moron.
Oh,
like, why?
man.
You're a moron, Pop. So a while ago, we did a Velvet session with you.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things that we're doing. They're going to get better with time. The progression from the first one we did with David McMahon to yours is a lot, but they'll get better. But you played a song, because I always listen to the demos and stuff you send me. The one that you played a while ago, the Daddy's Boots one,
Yeah.
how'd that one come about?
Well, actually, I was down here in Georgia and supposed to have a writing session during the whole quarantine stuff, that's happened this past year. And so me and my buddy JC and Jarrett got on a FaceTime call, and we're actually, it was near Father's Day, and I had this idea about doing a father song, and Jarrett comes out of nowhere and was like, man, I got this idea too called Daddy's Boots, and literally in 45 minutes we wrote that song.
See, I've got an idea for a daddy song I've been writing in poetry.
Yeah.
It's called My Kind of Drunk,
Yeah.
but
That's cool, man.
Yeah, My
I
Kinda
love that.
Drunk.
Yeah.
the where he was a drunk, but he was always there for you.
Yeah.
My kind of
That's cool.
yeah. I've got a couple.
Yeah,
I've got
man.
a couple.
They can do something with that now.
The other one that I'm very proud of right now is talking about it's something picking up something you can't put down, but it's talking about you walking into a bar and picking this girl up,
Yeah.
and never being able to put her down again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
I like stuff like that.
Yeah, it's all. And
But I
that's,
need y'all to fine tune them a lot. And when I say fine tune them a lot, I'm just gonna give you the idea, and then you give me some
Yeah.
credit. When
Yeah, there you go.
write the shit out of
yeah,
it.
that's the thing, man. That's what I love to do. Like I said, I've been doing music since played shows since I was 15, but really started writing songs when I was about 14, and but that's what I love to do is write. And if you get a chance to go look at the video, during that song you'll hear a phone, but I turned it off. It was like at the very last minute.
It's
so,
okay.
Yeah, it's life, that's what happens.
Corey Spires dropped, I think, her whole instrument during the thing, and she was like, "You want me to start over?" No, keep rolling.
Yeah.
No, just forget it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a live performance. That's how it's supposed to
right.
be. Yeah.
But yeah, you'll see the guitar that I'm playing too. Normally I have my Gibson with me, but when I come down this week, I didn't have enough room to throw it in there. Plus, I was like, well, I'm not playing any
Well, if
shows.
you didn't have a fiance now.
Yeah, and a
I
dog
think
and everything else.
I think you'd rather have the dog than the fiance.
Yeah, but anyway, so the only guitar I had back home at my folks' house was the first guitar I learned how to play on that my great uncle gave me, and so it was kind of cool to play that one.
No, I actually like it.
Yeah.
I kind of dig that a lot more. Something that a lot of folks might not know about you that I absolutely love is you used to be a big boy.
Yeah,
so
man.
you started talking about a while ago that, around 15 when you started playing, you was kind of a bigger fella.
Yeah, at one point I was 320 pounds, and now I fluctuate anywhere from 195 to 200, just give or take. But yeah, basically, I mean, man, in 8th grade I had high blood pressure. I mean, it was to the point to where the doctor told me, like, if I didn't stop what I was doing, by the time the age I am right now, I'd already have a heart attack.
See, same thing happened with me.
Mm-hmm.
I was in very good shape until I graduated, and then after that, it slowly progressed to where I got to about 330.
Yeah.
And I've seen pictures of you, dude.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
man, appreciate it. Yeah, it's one of those things where, and what I tell people all the time when they just feel like they can't do it, it's all a mindset. Once you get to it, or once you see a little bit of progress, it drives you to keep going. And it's all about, to me, and this is totally different from everybody, because everybody's weight loss and the way they do it is different, and everybody's body is different. But like with me, I'd lose I cut out sugar first thing.
That's what you got to do. That's the
First
biggest thing
Yeah.
with anybody.
Hell, I lost 65 pounds in probably 3 or 4 months of just cutting sugar.
Yeah.
And then once that happens, your body reaches a plateau to where, like, you kind of have to trick your body again and, like, cut back other things like some carbs or do this, add more greens, and then, like I said, over a period of time, because it took me a
How old are you now?
26.
26.
So it took me a good four and a half years to really kind of get down to where I wanted to. But I think with the progression over time and losing weight, it sets you up to where you don't just, gain it all back real fast.
Well, that's because you didn't just change for a little while and try to diet.
Yeah, it's
you
a
permanently
lifestyle.
changed your lifestyle of
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah.
How much better did you feel after that first month or two cutting those sugars
Oh
out?
man, I felt like a brand new man.
People don't
And-
understand it. Those sugars kill you.
Yeah, and
They kill you.
And I'm
so
gonna tell you
fast.
what, like sometimes, like I don't hardly ever drink a regular soda, but like if that's all that's there, and I have to like take 2 swigs, I'm just like, I don't even want this.
How thick does it feel?
It
now?
feels like pure cane syrup.
Yeah.
That's what it feels
It
like
does.
going down your throat, like damn cane syrup.
Once you break that habit of those sugars in your soft
Yeah.
drinks, every time you drink one, going. I used to be probably just like you because we Southern.
Yeah.
Used to love sweet tea.
Oh yeah.
I used to have so much sugar in my sweet tea for me
Yeah.
to drink it, and now it's rare. Maybe once every 2 or 3 months I'll
Yeah.
have a glass of sweet tea somewhere. But if it's got too much sugar in it,
Oh yeah.
it makes me, and it really makes me feel sick afterwards.
Yeah, and jittery and everything else. It's like, I don't know. But like my grandma, she still makes it, but like, man, she'd throw that sugar in there.
Well,
and-
because that's what they was
Golly.
raised.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I mean, no, don't get me wrong. Now I love sweet tea, but it's like once you change your lifestyle and do all this to get ready for losing the weight, it's just hard to to go
Well,
back.
your body wasn't made to process that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So after years and years and years, sugar literally has the same effect on your brain as cocaine does.
Mm-hmm.
It releases the dopamine or whatever,
And it's
and it
addiction.
makes you happy.
It's an addiction.
Yeah, people that drink too much, they will, instead of when they go through like phases where they don't want to drink as much or whatever, they're obsessed with chocolates and sugars
Oh, yeah.
and everything.
Yeah,
because
solid sugar.
Their
Yeah.
brain is telling them, "Hey, I want this dopamine effect." And that was one thing I had to do. I like to drink.
Yeah.
You don't like to drink so much. This is why we say he's like the sweetest of all of us.
Oh, now I'll have some beer.
I know
guys.
you will.
Yeah.
I know you will. But something I've always admired about you is some of our friends will get toasted while playing. And you are such a professional. And your mom and daddy and whoever raised you the right way to where when you play, I don't know if I've ever seen you have a beer while you're playing.
Yeah, I might have one, but that's a far stretch. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been playing shows and live music since I was 15, and I mean, my dad used to take me. I don't know if you remember the OC Lounge in Vidalia.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Well, it was right there at the Shoney's restaurant, that side bar where the hotel is.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, my dad take me in there at 15 years old. I'd be playing Wednesday nights at the bar down there, and my dad just be like, "Man, just because you in a bar, playing in a bar, you're here to do a job, and you're not here to." I mean, he said, "You're here to hang out, mingle with people." He said, "But still," he said, "this is your job, and you got to do it." And he's like, "Just keep that in mind." And I mean, people like my peers' parents, like they'll come in and be like, "Well, dude, do you know what you're doing? You know, taking your 15-year-old son to the bar and this, that, and other." He's like, "Well, he ain't there to party. He's there to play and work on his craft and everything else." So,
see, my dad would have done that.
yeah.
My dad would have been like, "You're 15. You're not going to get a chance to be 15 in a bar again.
Yeah.
Let's go drink some whiskey." And then the next thing you know, I'm a young Merle Haggard on stage, done drank way too much.
We'll be on years. Huh?
But that's why I love your daddy, though. Your mama, too.
Yeah, man.
You
They're
come from a special... Your brother's even cool.
Oh yeah. He's over at Georgia Southern right now. He's actually doing the whole fraternity rush thing, and
Tell him not to do that.
man, he's doing it.
Tell
he's
him to stop that
he's
shit.
doing it. And actually, I think this is the last week for him to do it, and then he'll be in there and be able to boss other people around. So,
Yeah.
but
I
love my brother, but we are totally night and day.
The first time I met your brother was on a very, very late night coming to Nashville.
Yeah.
We were already shit-faced. Walking, and I didn't know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought he was your older brother.
Nah.
I remember, or no, maybe it wasn't I thought he was his older brother. I thought he was older than he was.
Yeah.
Because I think the next night you were playing at George Jones' rooftop bar.
Mm-hmm.
And you played there a couple
Yeah,
times?
I played there a few
I think
times.
that's what it is, and I don't remember if he could get in or not.
No, he couldn't get in.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
He'll
and I
turn-
was super surprised. that
He'll
he did.
turn 21 in March next year.
He's still not 21.
No, he'll be 21 in March, and I'll be 27 in March.
March what?
March 7th.
Okay. We'll have to remember that. We'll have to
Yeah.
do a special Dukesy Day.
Yeah, heck yeah, man.
What is some of the things that you got? I know COVID screwed everybody up.
Yeah, man. This has been a crazy.
What has it been like living
year.
in Nashville this whole time under COVID?
Well, so pretty much this whole past year, I start booking at the end of every year for the next year, and man, this year I had January all the way to the end of October slap full shows, and then of course around March it all went away. And so basically I stayed up in Nashville for a few months, but then I came back home
Yeah.
because everything was shut down. I mean, you couldn't do anything. Nobody was having in-person
They still have, like,
rights.
restrictions on the bars now, don't they?
Well, they do, but it's more of like it's the capacity.
Yeah.
You know, they're only working maybe half to 75% full capacity, but I mean nobody was doing in-person writing sessions anymore. Everybody was doing it over the computer, and people were kind of just staying in. And I'm like, well, if I ain't got no shows and I ain't got this, I got to go home and try to find a way to make some money and
Dude, I don't
do
blame
this
you.
and do
I
that.
wouldn't have- I wouldn't have stayed up there.
Yeah.
I know a couple of folks, probably like you do, that they ended up playing shows and got bashed all over social media for it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know. Well, I saw Chris Jansen and Chase Rice. Yeah. They got bashed pretty hard. And I did a few.
Didn't you do a drive-in show?
Yeah, I did a drive-in show with Craig Campbell back in July.
I like that little fella.
Yeah, and we did 2 shows in Jessup and 1 in Tiger, Georgia, North Georgia. But yeah, I mean they were fun. But I mean, man, there's nothing like people in front of the stage and like it used
weird.
to. Yeah,
It
was very
weird.
It was very weird. But I mean, honestly, I think after all this election stuff and next year rolls around,
it's just going to disappear.
It's
Unless
going to.
Biden wins today.
Yeah, well.
Let's
all you got to do is pray, man, because
he's going to shut everything down.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I'm not extremely nervous, but there is a little bit of nervousness.
Well, do you know what the 79 days of hell are? Okay. If Trump wins today and he doesn't win by like a landslide, to where the mail-in ballots and all that stuff can't save the Democrats or whatever, well, there's a plan in place, and it's called the 79 Days of Hell, and it is from tomorrow until Inauguration Day, to where the Democrats can protest and take it into the courts. And you know what happens if that ends up being the case? The United Nations will control our country for the 79 days.
Wow.
We will be screwed for the next 79 days because there's going to be so many regulations and stuff, because there's going to be riots, there's going to be protests, and I'm not talking about like peaceful. If Trump, he has to win in a landslide.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, then it's going to get drawn the hell out. We won't know for weeks.
Yeah, I kind of already figured that too with everything that's going on. But man, I tell you, it's one of those things you just gotta pray about it, and good Lord's got it in His hands, and it's one of those things, man. You gotta just keep plugging away, and hopefully it just all don't fall to pieces.
I don't know. I'm one of those that. And I hate to say this, but I've always been this way, or I've grown to be this way. Even if Biden wins, we have to support him.
Yeah,
that's the difference between like folks like us and Democrats already. Right. Is even if Biden wins, we have to support him, because as the head of household goes, usually the family goes, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the president. You don't want to root for your president to fail. That's what has pissed me off so much the past 4 years. You got all these people that aren't smart enough to realize, hey, if Trump fails, you fail.
Yeah.
Like, if our economy fails, your dumb ass fails.
It all comes back to respect. There's no respect.
No, hell no.
I mean, there's no respect for the presidency anymore. And when I say anymore, I'm just talking about the majority.
Yeah.
And not people like us. But it's just one of those things, man. Like, I mean, when Obama was in office, I mean, I respected Obama. He was our president.
You have to.
I didn't agree with some of the stuff he did, most of the stuff he did. But it's just one of those things, though. The presidency has to have respect.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
We'll see. I mean, that's the only answer to any of that is we'll see.
What a good day to bring in Election Day here at Raising Grace Studios.
That's what we're doing tonight.
Yeah.
I got to go. I got another tattoo session today for about 2 hours in Macon.
Yeah.
From 2 to 4. But as soon as I get done, I'm rushing back here, buying a good bottle of whiskey to drink on the way here, because I got a feeling that I'm going to be on pins and needles tonight.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, it's one of those things. I'm really not expecting to, unless we win.
He literally has to win a landslide.
And I got a feeling, you're going to see a lot of people show up today. And
do you know the story behind why Hillary was so far ahead of him in 2016, and then all of a sudden he won? All right. So Republicans have jobs.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy, right? Like to have a job and be able to vote. But so Hillary was ahead all day until 5 o'clock rolled around everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Republicans got off work. They went and stood in line. They voted. Trump from 5 o'clock that afternoon until it was over with. It was almost like 90% Trump votes.
Yeah.
And he even though he didn't win by a landslide or anything over Hillary, and how he didn't is just mind blowing with her being her. But yeah, that's what's going to happen today.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people waited today to go vote, and the polls say that Biden's up, but he's not as up as much as Hillary was over Trump 4 years ago.
Right.
That gives me hope.
Yeah.
But also too, I'm a big conspiracy theory guy. Big into conspiracy theories.
Man, don't fall in that rabbit hole.
I am. I'm not gonna get onto it with you, but I really do think that the coronavirus and everything with the mail-in ballots or whatever, I think that there's going to be something behind that, to where the Democrats are going to try to pull something out their ass. I just watched this documentary. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called 537 Votes, and it's about the 2000 election with Bush. It's about the 2000 election with Bush and how all of a sudden some votes got messed up.
Yeah.
And it's sneaky. I was a Bush supporter, and I'm still a Bush supporter. There's some sneaky shit went on in Florida after those few weeks after the election.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's going to happen.
I don't know, man. I mean, I just know what I did and when I voted, so that's all I can say for.
Well, what regardless if Trump or Biden wins, what's some plans for Dixie in 2021? Because they got to be better than the 2020 plans that got ruined.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I've been, especially this year, I've been writing a whole lot, and I'm trying to.
You think the quarantine helped with that?
A little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. Even before this, I was writing tons, but really, truly writing stuff that this year, because most of the time I'd write by myself and then, write with the people that I knew I wrote well with and just kept the small circle. But I really wrote a lot of songs this year that I think for me, goes good with me and my brand and my artistry, Instead of writing a whole catalog worth of stuff that could be for this person or that person.
Of years of listening to you.
Yeah.
I think that you have this extremely sweet side of you that when you write, like the Daddy's Boot songs, and then when she gets her wings, every one of our friends that comes in here, and we end up talking about you. Because it always boils down to talking about you and Lee Tucker. For some reason, always. I always bring up that song when she got her wings.
Yeah.
And I love that song, and I feel like that's one of the ones that you put your heart into.
Yeah.
Like there's another story behind the song.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, that's your lane right there.
Yeah.
And when you put out a couple of those and get a good catalog of stuff like that,
yeah,
you're not a party boy.
Yeah.
And so when you write a party song, it's like, this fool ain't partying. Like, I know those lyrics came from JC or Dustin Hare or somebody or whoever you're writing with at the time. But you when you do those sensitive songs, you murder it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
You do.
That song was a true story.
Is it really?
She
I
has
don't
her
know the story
wings.
behind it.
She has. Yeah, I put it on my first EP and cut it in Nashville. But yeah, that was actually a true story. Before I even moved to Nashville, I was playing this wedding, and this older man come walking up to me and, was telling me, hey man, you did a great job, this, that, and other. And we started talking, and he was telling me about his wife, and man, the way he talked about her, it was almost like she was still living, and he was still wearing the ring. And then he finally told me that she passed away, and so that conversation stuck with me. And honestly, I started writing the song in class when I was in college at East Georgia. I just had the idea, and then I went home that night and wound up finishing it. And man, I tell you, when I opened up for Vince Gill a few years back, he he actually sat on stage and watched my whole set.
You never told me that story about the Vince Gill part.
Yeah.
You had somebody that was either managing you or helping you book or whatever.
Yeah.
That took me to Savannah one time. You were
Yeah.
playing at Saddlebacks.
Yeah.
And she ended up, I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, she was one of those promoting ladies
Yeah.
that I've worked with a few of them here and there.
She got me a hotel room right here
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
River Street and everything. She treated me like a big dog. Didn't make me pay for anything. They just paid my bar tab and all
Yeah.
that good stuff. But she told me that story
Yeah.
of Vince Gill sitting there watching you play
Yeah.
that song and was like,
Yeah, when I got done with my set, went to walk back, and he was like, "Man," he said, "that Wing song," he said, "that's something special right there." He said, "You hold on to it." And of course, I mean, meeting Vince Gill that whole day and gotten to open up a show for him was like a highlight of my life.
You've opened up for Luke Combs.
Yeah, Luke, Charlie Daniels, Justin Moore, Montgomery Gentry, Shenandoah, my favorite country band of all time.
Really? Shenandoah?
Yeah. Even Joe Diffie. I mean, honestly,
it's about a curse to you to open up for somebody.
Yeah,
You
well,
got
nah.
about
I mean, now that you talk about it,
the
I
Duke's
mean,
curse.
Montgomery Gentry, Charlie Daniels,
Joe Diffie.
Joe Diffie. I mean, man,
Damn,
but
I don't know if I want you on my show.
no, man, I tell you, I've met a lot of people, but I tell you that the two that really impacted me the most was Vince Gill and then Marty Raven from Shenandoah, because they really took the time to sit and talk with me and kind of give me some inspiration and kind of like some insight on what to do and what not to do, and so it was
I
really cool.
got to announce for Shenandoah
Yeah.
a couple months ago and got to be around them for the first time or whatever. Incredibly nice people.
Oh yeah,
you
man.
would have never known they have wrote some of the biggest country songs ever.
Marty
the way
and-
they treated me.
Marty and Mike the drummer, I mean, like, they're just so down to earth. And like, I was the kid in the back in the 90s that was blaring 2 Dozen Roses and just all that stuff, man.
I still
like
that's
Marty
one-
Raven has got has to be like my favorite voice, one of my favorite voices of country music. And
yeah.
and even his bluegrass stuff too, because he ventured out and did gospel and bluegrass, and I mean, I don't know, he was such a great guy. And man, meeting Charlie Daniels, I opened up for him when I was 18 at the
See, that's the show we were booking you for next year too.
yeah
We were going to have Charlie Daniels, I think, in March.
yeah
And you were going to open for him.
yeah he was such a good guy, man. 18 years old, you couldn't tell me no. I got to go up there on his bus and hang out with him, and just
Man,
you
see,
talk about like just good old country folks. Like
That's why the good Lord blessed you with musical talent and not me. Because I would have been hell being on the bus with Charlie Daniels at 18. You would have been the complete opposite way.
Yeah.
It would have been, this would have made, I think it would have made me it would make my head swell.
yeah
But I think I probably would have been humbled too at the same time.
yeah
But you've conducted yourself with all these people. Because one thing that I always hear, whether it is from us getting to talk to some of these artists or whatever, like whenever your name gets brought up, they remember you.
yeah
Like whenever we were around Shenandoah
Yeah.
for that event or whatever, because we're in Vidalia for the event, we get to talking or whatever. And I was like, I've got a buddy that I wish was here right now, Justin Dukes, and he remembered you.
yeah that's
Like,
awesome, man.
He
And
remembered.
Mike, the drummer, even gave me his number, and it's been a few years, but I mean, even when I reached out to him, he always reached back out, and but yeah, man, I mean, like, especially I've done a lot of shows here at the Onion Festival.
You
in
did
Vidalia.
Randy Hauser last
Randy
year, right?
Hauser, and then a couple years before that, did Big and Rich, and that was a crazy show. Like
I
that
can only
was
imagine what it was like with Big and
that
Rich.
that was like, we got up there, did our set for like 45 minutes, and then they came on, and it was just like, I mean, it was party nonstop for 2 hours. Like, they had a guy in a Spider-Man outfit, they had Cowboy Troy. I mean, they had it all, and it was
Well,
literally
they're entertainers, because I think they've got a couple songs probably got 3 or 4 songs I really like. The rest
Yeah.
of them are just good time songs,
Yeah.
whatever. But they did something that I think a lot of musicians fail to realize is sometimes you got to understand what kind of musician you are. I think they figured out they're the party crowd.
Yeah.
I think, and so that's what they're going to give their fans. We've all seen these musicians that, you know, think they're one thing, then they get on stage and the crowd doesn't respond to it.
Yeah.
Every time we've ever seen you play, you know exactly what to do to your crowd.
Yeah.
And that takes a certain talent, I think.
And here's the thing: I'm not the kind to go up there and run and jump up on the sound.
But you don't advertise that either,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I'm more about the song and the deliverance of a song, but I mean, there is times where, you know, I've jumped around, I've done this, done that, but I don't know, man. It's one of those things that it's people ask me like, well, do you ever get nervous, this, that, and that? I'm like, well, man, I've been doing this, I mean, since I was 15.
Yeah.
I'm 26 now, and it's one of those things where every show, I mean, even if it's an acoustic show, I love doing acoustic shows. Just
They're my
having
favorite.
people
They're
just sitting
acoustic
around
shows
talking
will
to
always
people
be my favorite.
and telling them about the song and playing the song. But even with the big shows, I mean, you get up there, you do your thing, and you know the people's gonna know if it's real or not.
Yep.
And it's you kind of just throw yourself out there and hopefully they'll gravitate toward it.
I think a lot of people gravitate toward you, though. I really do. I think when they actually get to sit down and talk to you, there's a lot of artists. I absolutely love Lee Tucker, but there's a lot of places that, you know, Lee probably can't go play because he's Lee. You know?
Yeah,
You know,
I
but
know what you mean.
you are one of those that I know that I can send my family
Yeah,
to watch you. I know I can take my daughter.
Yeah.
I would take my daughter to see Lee Tucker, but I'm a special parent. But not everybody's going to do that. Hashtag Kathleen.
Yeah.
Still.
Oh, by the way, if you go and listen to Kathleen in the first like 5 seconds, you hear this big old laugh. That's me.
Is it really?
Yeah. When he called me up, he was like, "Listen, we need some crowd noise for Kathleen. You coming?" I'm like, "I'll be there."
Yeah. I think the right person hears that song.
Yeah.
I think somebody buys a shot.
Yeah, you'll hear me out there
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
and during the crowd mix, I'm just laughing my tail off. Like it was just.
And
It was fun too. We had a bunch of our friends, Dustin Hare, Priscilla Block, all them. I mean, they were.
she's
Wait.
blown the hell up.
Yeah, man, she has. She
Shit.
has.
Damn TikTok.
TikTok. That's what I'm saying. You get on TikTok.
I bet that did make every one of y'all want to get a TikTok.
Yeah, I
Just
was
in her
like,
circle.
I mean, literally, I wrote with her like, I don't know, end of last year before all this stuff happened, and we've been writing with each other for about a couple of years now, but like, it's been a little while since we have, but I mean, like, I started seeing like TikTok this, TikTok that. Next thing I know, I'm like, dadgum, Priscilla's got the #1 song in the all genres. I'm like, Lord of mercy, how'd this happen?
Yeah.
And but no, I'm so happy for her. And she's really took to, you know, that her
She knows what her
demographic.
niche is.
Yeah, and she's really took to her demographic. And I actually saw her about a month ago. We were over at a buddy of mine's house for a Georgia game, and she was there. But yeah, man, she's rocking and rolling. And I'm proud.
Yeah,
of
I'm
her.
doing my best to get her on because we've only met each other one time.
Yeah, it was actually the show we did down here.
Yeah, that's
Me
the
and
only.
her and
That's
Lee
the
and
only time I've met her, and I think I stuck my foot in my mouth
oh
that night. I don't think I did it in a bad way. I think I hit on her.
yeah, the
Well,
good
it
old
was
Josh Terry movie.
It's as soon as I heard her voice.
Yeah,
I'm sitting there with. Matter of fact, I'm sitting there with your dad.
yeah.
I remember it now.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there with your dad, and then all of a sudden, because I'd never heard her. I just had heard you compliment her, Lee compliment her, everybody.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, she starts belting up there, and I'm like, well, I know what I'm doing later. I am hitting on her, and I don't think I went overboard with it, but I think I probably flirted, and she was there for a show, and that's one thing with female artists. I love female country music. I love female artists in general, but they got to get tired of that shit. They got to get tired everywhere they go. some asshole hitting on them and not treating them just like a musician.
Yeah.
So I think like I kind of put, I don't know whether I did because we've messaged before when I worked in radio because I wanted to have her on the show over there too.
Yeah.
And like now I've sent her a message and she sent me something back about, yeah, I'd like to do it sometime. But then it's like I don't like badgering people.
Yeah.
It's either you either want to do it or you don't.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm not one that's fixing to beg.
Yeah, I'm the same way too when it comes to like writing and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's just, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I really want to do with all y'all is I want to like schedule it a couple months out so everybody's good to go. But I want to get you and JC and Dustin and Lee and Chucky P. I want y'all to meet this new guy that is like 21 years old that did the first podcast with me, David McMahon,
Mm-hmm.
Corey Spires, Chris Taylor, Heath Clack. Anybody that's done like these Velvet sessions
Yeah.
to come in here, all of us just kind of lock the doors,
Yeah.
pass the bottle around, and write some stuff. Because there's so many talented people that have
Oh,
came
yeah.
from this area that y'all working together, I think can make something really, really special. And when we get that recording studio back there, I want to be able to do a lot of stuff here. And
Yeah,
I
man.
I want to do it with the people that I actually believe in, like
Right.
y'all.
Yeah, I'm all about it, man. Like you've had a vision since day one for this thing, and even back in the old BB days. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you've really found your niche and a way to market yourself and your brand, and I mean people gravitate towards it, man. It's
Well, I think what it is that I think there's so many people that get tired of hearing somebody just kiss people's ass
Yeah.
and say, "Oh, this is good," because everybody else says it's good.
Right.
When Chucky P was in here on Sunday and we did a podcast, and I told him, I said, I feel like everybody needs that friend if you're a musician that tells you this doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
That it's time to put it up.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to be a performer. You're a songwriter.
Right.
Okay. I've had those conversations with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I have not had them with y'all because I think that y'all have got it. I think there's something about y'all,
Yeah.
the ones that I'm close with, the ones that I try to center myself around with, because I think if you blow up, I blow up.
Right.
If
It's a
Lee
chain
Tucker
reaction.
blows up, we all blow up, because I think if we all are working together, there's so many people that they just want the whole pie to themselves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's an endless amount of opportunity now
Yeah.
because of the way streaming is, the way that with Priscilla.
Yeah.
Priscilla didn't have a record deal and became number one
Mhm.
on her own.
Yeah.
And that is cool as hell. I mean, that's really
Oh,
something
yeah.
special. And I think the same thing can happen with all of us, is the right ideas bouncing off of each other. I don't know if Lee Tucker's ever made you watch it, but he made me watch this documentary. It's called Tales from the Tour Bus.
Oh yeah, man. I've seen all of them.
Well, one thing that it just completely blew my mind about it is when you're watching it, they all knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
They all worked together. They
Yeah.
were all friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And that got in my head, and I was like, you know what? That's why those group of individuals will be all-time greats.
Oh yeah.
Because they didn't compete against each other.
No.
If there was a song that Willie wrote and it was one that he knew that he wasn't going to do anything with because it
Mhm.
wasn't in his wheelhouse,
Right.
gave it to Waylon.
Yeah. Yeah. They were all working together, and it helped too that they were all friends. But I totally agree with you 100%. That's like I have two different sides to me. I got a songwriter side, and I got an artist side. And I mean, I've had people cut my songs that I knew I wasn't going to do anything with
Yeah,
it.
what JC's done a couple
Yeah,
of
JC's
of
done
Lee
a
stuff,
few
hasn't
other
he?
artists up in
Yeah.
Nashville, and
Oh, well, I think I've
Um,
never got to hang out with him. I think he's super talented.
JC.
Yeah.
I
I
man.
think he's super
Yeah,
talented
and
and never got the chance to.
I
be
know
around him.
if y'all ain't heard JC Anderson, his last name's spelled with a S-E-N, not O-N, but
Check him out.
check
He's
him
a
out,
Very
and-
talented guy.
literally one of the coolest guys. I mean, he's like my brother. I mean, he's like my older brother when it comes to everything. And plus, he's going through some hard times right now with his voice.
Is he?
Yeah, he had some polyps show up on his vocal cords, and they had to go in there do them. But we're praying for a speedy recovery. But if you go get a chance, go look him up, and you hear his voice one time,
He's solid.
that joker can sing. I mean, literally, I would say one of the best unsigned singers in Nashville,
He's
Tennessee.
one of the reasons why I hate Nashville.
Yeah.
Because folks like y'all that are extremely talented,
Yeah.
aren't treated the way that a Kane Brown is
Yeah.
treated, way that a Dan and Shay
Yeah.
is treated. These artists that are flash in the pans that aren't that musically talented,
Yeah.
and they just don't fit the image.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Cody Jinks had a quote a couple years ago. I'm big into Cody Jinks. He's
Yeah.
on stage and something had pissed him off. I don't know what had pissed him off, but he just says, "Fuck Nashville. I'm gonna
Yeah.
build my own."
Yeah.
And that kind of resonated with me. I was like, Nashville's just a place.
Yeah.
Macon used to be a hub for music.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
and they've reopened Capricorn.
Yeah,
up there.
they have.
And
I'm going to beat down their door soon.
Yeah, because actually my drummer and my guitar player still live in Georgia, and they're actually part of the whole house studio musicians up there. And my drummer actually helps run the sound engineers and all
Yeah, you
that
got
stuff.
to get me hooked up with them,
Yeah.
because one thing I want to do is I feel like I got an ear
Mhm.
for good, and I want to be able to do this. You know how Texas country is called red dirt country?
Yeah.
It has its own thing.
Mhm.
Well, I don't see why red clay country ain't a thing.
Yeah.
I don't see why we can't have our own brand of country music here.
Mhm.
The real country music, just
Yeah.
like Texas country is.
Yeah.
Georgia and Texas ain't that much different. There's a little
Mhm.
bit more rock in their
Yeah.
stuff. But here it's more that old school country.
Yeah.
You are old school country living in 2020, and it ain't fair.
Yeah.
Because if you were singing back in the 70s and 80s,
Yeah.
you're rich. You are rich by now, and it's not fair because Nashville has this idea,
Yeah.
and you know what? The hell with that idea. Like I want to be part of breaking the mold. There's always, when you watch these documentaries, and it's just because I see it for all of us, but there's always in these documentaries that I watch on music, it was always somebody that was like, you know what? We're gonna do it a different way.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it this way. Even Elvis was rejected at first
Yeah.
because he didn't fit into a box.
Yeah, I mean, they threw him out the back door of the Ryman.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Monroe asked him to come be on the show, and they didn't like the way he shook and did everything, so they booed him off stage and they threw him out the back door.
And then he's the king of rock.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the king of music.
Yeah.
He could sing anything from gospel.
Mhm.
I mean, I like individuals like you that are, I call it undercover talented.
Mhm.
People just don't know how talented you are.
Yeah.
People don't know how talented JC is, and
Mhm.
Dustin and Lee, and they're finna find out about Priscilla.
Yeah.
But there's a long list of folks that I have encountered and got to know, and it's like these guys have got something special. All they need is something or somebody to kick them square in the ass and say, look, we don't have to do it like everybody else.
Yeah.
Let's do it our own way. And if we can get somebody like a Capricorn,
Yeah.
or somebody behind us,
Mhm.
and we can promote the artist, we can book the venues, we can all work as a family together.
Yeah.
I don't see why it wouldn't get to be something serious.
I don't either. I mean, you got to have the songs and you got to have the talent, but once you have that, and you have a team around you, I mean,
So
it's gonna-
this is my idea, and I told Chucky the other day, is as soon as we get to where we can all actually record together.
Mhm.
I say we record together, y'all record, because I can't sing my way out of a paper bag. But I want to do like an EP, and it not be an individual EP, but like all of us working together, like maybe a 10-track EP or whatever.
yeah,
And then we push it out there as the Raising Grace EP.
yeah,
With all of y'all underneath it, maybe y'all doing some duets on some of the songs,
yeah.
co-writing everything together. Man,
Yeah, that'd be cool,
You
man.
know how cool that would be.
Mhm. Yeah, and you get everybody's fan base.
That's
And
that's
then
the big thing
you
is
merge them
cross-branding with
together.
each other. That's
You
what I
merge
want to do. And I think that would be something extremely special, because I mean, you even look back as far as like, I can't remember what the thing was called with Johnny Cash and Elvis and all.
Yeah,
that.
the Highwaymen.
Well, no, that was Johnny
Oh, you
Cash.
talking about the $1 Million Quartet?
Well, whatever it was.
Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, and
It was
Jerry
where they all
Lewis?
went on tour together.
Oh yeah.
It's like the Chitlin circuit and
Yeah.
everything with the old Motown and blues
Right.
and stuff. But there was one that's and I really can't remember, but it was Elvis, it was Jerry Lee Lewis, it was Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
It was all right when they first got started,
Yeah.
and they all went out on tour together.
Right, but you got to think too, like the Sun Records.
That's what
Son
it was. It
Phillips.
was all under
Yeah.
Sun. So
He
like,
signed all them guys.
So it's like in my head, if I've got all these guys that are unsigned, and we put together an EP like that,
yeah.
and I can send that EP to venues, and like, look, this is what we're bringing.
Yeah.
We're bringing a whole roster of 10 folks together at a time. You know, we could book so many
Oh yeah.
dates,
Mhm.
and it would do good, but it would have to be where there'd have to be no egos involved. Everybody had to check
Yeah.
their shit at the door, and that's why like I have picked the people that have came in so far, because I'm like, this is it. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is why all of us. I'm big into signs and stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And all of us met each other for a reason. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't just because I got drunk and met Nate Kenyon one time, and then that turned into meeting Lee Tucker.
Yeah.
It was where like these people were supposed to. We were supposed to come together at some point in time.
Right.
Because a bunch of us don't even fit in. Like I don't fit in. Me and Lee's the only two out of everybody that actually could be real life twins.
Yeah.
Not just from our appearance, but the way we act. But I just feel like everybody, us working together on this project moving forward, it does nothing but help everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Worst case scenario, you get some more music out there and you get some more fans.
That's right.
What's
Yeah.
the bad part of that?
No, ain't nothing wrong with that at all.
I mean, all of us having to be cramped in an RV.
Yeah.
A couple of weekends, a couple weekends a
Uh,
year might suck. But what? So coming up next year, do you have anything that's on the books yet, or whatever that you know is going to be a big deal for you, or you got an EP that you plan on putting out, or anything next year?
Well, one of my main objectives next year is to get back in the studio. Because, like I said, I've been up in Nashville for 5 years, and I've written a catalog worth of stuff that I feel like really fits me, and that's what I would like to do and get it out there. But as far as shows right now, I'm kind of booking as I go right
Yeah.
this minute, and kind of seeing how the end of this year is going to play out, to that way we can move forward for next year. And
Do you know about the show that we've got booked already for Crazy Bull in January?
I don't think so.
Because I'm gonna try to get you and Chucky to open it. It's called the Rewind Tour. It's Mark Wheels, Brian White, and Wade
yeah.
Hayes.
Yeah.
So we got them for a Friday night at Crazy Bull. I think it's January the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get like 2 good acoustic openers for
Yeah.
it to go back and forth like a writer's round type.
Yeah.
deal. And that's one reason I wanted you to come.
Yeah.
So I could talk to you about it, because I
Definitely, man. I would
probably
love
get you to open up for them.
Yeah.
And then just one of the things we're going to do with a bunch of these artists going forward, because of the podcast and the studio, is I want to get, like, it's in their contracts that we're going to get them in here to do a show.
Mm-hmm.
For the cross branding purposes. I want Mark Wheels fans to be Josh
Yeah.
Terry fans, right?
Exactly.
Wade Hayes and Brian White, like all of them.
Yeah, but I've met Mark. Mark's a good old Georgia guy too.
Is he?
Man, he's a good guy.
Good. I can't wait to have him
Yeah.
in here. But all of us getting together and then having y'all, like, if you already know him, that's cool. But in here, if I'm like, hey man, this dude right here's got a killer song.
Yeah.
This ain't just somebody saying that. You ought to
Yeah.
check this out. Like, that's how I feel like, that moment with you and Vince Gill happens again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's just where there's an opportunity for growth for everybody.
Oh yeah.
And I just want to see that happen for y'all.
Man, that's. I mean, you can't go wrong when you have people in your corner. And I know I met you through Lee Tucker.
Sorry.
But I'll tell you what, I love that dude to death, and
Oh,
I
I
love
do.
you, man. And I tell you, we've hit it off since the first night we met, and I mean it's one of those things where you got people in your corner, man. It just makes you want to strive to do better and keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and one of the things is I've read a lot about this lately. Me and Chucky talked about it, but there's a lot of people that pay their dues for like 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Stapleton didn't get any acknowledgement. He's 40 something years old now.
Yeah.
And nobody really knew who he was until in his mid 30s.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to take that long for all of us.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's still a lot of room for all of us to improve. And in my mind, it's like, hell, let's just improve together.
Yeah.
You know, let's build that trust amongst each other to where when Justin Dukes blows up or whoever blows up,
Yeah.
you know, we're promoting it.
Yeah.
You know, we're all working together. It's not where, you know, there's so many people in music that'll just rob you blind.
Oh, believe me, I know. I've
Well,
come across a few of them.
Yeah, so it's like, man, if we all build trust in one another, we help one another, there's a whole lot of, I think, you know, weight comes off your shoulders.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
like, you know what, these guys got my back. I admire the fact that like your family and you are the ones that handle the majority of your stuff.
Yeah.
Because your dad and your mom ain't gonna let you get screwed.
No.
I'm not gonna let you get screwed. I'll fight somebody for
Yeah.
you get screwed. I refuse to. And I think that's what this is going to turn into. I wanted it just to be a podcast and end up being an XM station.
Yeah.
And it will. I got faith in that.
Mm-hmm.
But what better way for the music and stuff that gets played than to have my boys on it?
That's right. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean I'm all about the family aspect of this, and you being such a I've every time I introduce you to anybody, I'm like, this guy's not gonna seem like he should be involved with us at all. You're our Kenny Chesney.
Oh,
like
man.
you're our Kenny Chesney, and but in order for there to be somebody like you, there's got to be the ones like us that are rough.
Right. You know.
But that's just
It's a
appeals
good
to
balance,
everybody.
man.
Yeah,
It's a
says
good
yin and
balance.
yang.
Yeah.
And man, I'm excited to see what the future holds for you, for us, and
Yeah, man. Me too.
Before we get off here, though, I want you to drop your social media and stuff again, and just tell them where they can find Dukesy, and if you got anything that's fixing that you need them to go download, ask them to. Any ones that you want them to go check out now, tell them.
Yeah, well, check me out on Facebook, Justin Dukes Music, Instagram, Justin_Dukes_music, TikTok train, I think it's just Justin Dukes, so go check that out. Also Spotify and iTunes, anywhere you get digital music, I got stuff out. And honestly, keep up with me on Facebook, all social medias, and I'll be posting where I'm playing, and hopefully I'll see y'all at the show, and May 2021 be a whole lot better than 2020.
It can't get much worse, bro.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming in today,
Man, appreciate you, brother.
We'll
Love you, man.
We'll be sure to promote you any way that we can, help you out.
Yeah,
you
man.
grow, we grow. And thank all of y'all for tuning in and listening to Politics, Religion, and Whiskey, the Josh Terry Podcast. And one more time, congratulations on the engagement.
Thanks, man.
I love you, brother.
Love you, too.
Stay safe up in Nashville.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be seeing you and talking